China says it's ramping up its own defense spending by more than 7% this year. The announcement came during the two sessions, the Communist Party's most important annual meeting. Louise is following the meeting from our newsroom here in Taipei. Louise, a boost this big for China's military, how will China spend that, and does that signal danger ahead for Taiwan?
Yes, well, this boost in defense spending of 7.2%, actually, that was the same figure that China increased spending on its military last year as well. And it is more than the growth target for this year that they've also announced today of around 5%. So this does illustrate the importance that China is still putting on modernizing its military. Now, under Xi Jinping, since he became president in 2013, actually China has more than doubled its spending on defense to around $245 billion this year. Although, of course, that's still dwarfed by US spending on their military of around $850 billion. But this program to modernize the Chinese military, it still has 10 years left. So China will be spending the money on developing new missiles and ships and submarines. But the work report that the Premier presented to the National People's Congress today, it again stresses that China has to be combat ready. So that will no doubt mean more exercises around Taiwan and further afield.
And Louise, what has the Chinese government said about Taiwan in their meeting so far?
Well, a lot of the same things as they've said before. The Chinese Premier Li, he said during the opening session of the National People's Congress when he delivered his work report, and again, this is to set out the Chinese leadership's priorities for the year ahead. He said that Beijing will resolutely oppose Taiwanese independence and interference by external forces. Again, these are words that we've heard time and time again. He also said, though, that Beijing will improve institutions and policies for economic and cultural exchanges between China and Taiwan. Now, we've spoken about the military. This is the softer side of the Communist Party's outreach to Taiwanese, their efforts to push this idea of reunification, as they see it, onto the Taiwanese public. So we may expect a renewed focus on inviting lower level neighborhood officials to China for political exchanges, as well as more cultural and religious exchanges between the two sides. What's the Taiwanese government's reaction to this? Well, we're waiting to hear. We expect one of the government agencies, the Mainland Affairs Council, to comment this afternoon.